A blizzard warning has been issued for New York City, and there hasn't been one of those in over a decade. The rapidly intensifying nor'easter begins today and will bring blizzard conditions, potentially multiple feet of snow, wind gusts of 50 to 80 miles per hour, and coastal flooding to the I-95 corridor from the eastern shore of Maryland through New Jersey, New York City, Long Island, and into southeastern New England. The surface low is going to drop roughly 30 millibars in pressure over the next 24 hours. That's bombogenesis on steroids. It's going to create a powerful vacuum that pulls cold air down from Canada and wraps moisture around itself like you've rarely seen. The bullseye for this storm has shifted to the coast. 2 days ago, the majority of models had this staying out to sea. Yesterday, everything started converging. Today, we are locked in on a major nor'easter. The time to prepare was yesterday. If you haven't, do it right now. This is your Sunday forecast for February the 22nd, 2026. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now let's move on. Before we get to snowfall totals, I want to explain why the models are so confident in this storm, because the root cause of the blizzard on the East Coast is actually tied to what's happening thousands of miles away. A jet core speed maximum in the Gulf of Alaska is propagating eastward and amplifying a massive ridge along the West Coast. What goes up must come down in the atmosphere, and that ridge amplification is deepening the trough on the East Coast. The geometry of this upper-level pattern is textbook for a powerful nor'easter. This is one of the big reasons every model has converged on the same solution. The energy feeding this storm is enormous and well-defined at 18,000 feet. This storm is going to look like a tropical system by Monday. The low pressure will have an eye-like structure parked just southeast of Nantucket, which is the absolute worst position for heavy snow and extreme winds across southern New England. It's going to lock in there and dump snow and hammer the coast with winds for hours. Here's the timing. Rain is already falling across the mid-Atlantic and parts of the southeast this morning. The critical rain-to-snow transition happens this afternoon, working from west to east. Richmond, the areas south of Washington, D.C., and the Delmarva region start as rain and flip to snow Sunday afternoon. The timing of that transition is everything for those cities' final snow totals. Further north, the changeover comes faster, and the snow gets going in earnest. By tonight, the storm undergoes bombogenesis, and the heavy snow bands set up from Delaware through New Jersey, New York City, Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. Snowfall rates hit 1 to 3 inches per hour. Thundersnow is possible in the strongest bands. By Monday morning, the bomb cyclone is fully developed offshore with an intensely tight pressure gradient driving extreme winds. The wind story is going to catch people off guard. Along the coast, especially eastern Long Island and Cape Cod, gusts of 50 to 70, possibly 80 miles per hour are expected. That's not a typo. Nantucket could see gusts approaching hurricane force. This will create whiteout conditions where you cannot see the car in front of you. Massive snowdrifts will pile up against buildings, vehicles, and along roadways. Coastal flooding from storm surge is a real concern for the Jersey Shore, Long Island Sound, Narragansett Bay, Buzzards Bay, and Cape Cod Bay. The combination of astronomically high tides with sustained onshore winds from a deepening low could push water levels 2 to 4 feet above normal along the most exposed coastlines. But the winds aren't just coastal. Even 100 to 200 miles inland, gusts of 30 to 50 miles per hour are expected. The entire state of New Jersey, western Massachusetts, southern portions of New York State, the Hudson Valley, southern Vermont, and southern Maine will feel significant wind. Power outages are a serious concern across the entire region, not just the immediate coast, because this won't be light, fluffy powder. This is heavy, wet snow that loads up trees and power lines. The snow-to-liquid ratio will be in the 8-to-1 to 10-to-1 range in many areas, meaning this is dense, packable snow. Great for snowmen, terrible for the electrical grid. If you lose power, it could be days before crews can get to everyone given the scope of this storm. The Monday morning commute does not exist from Boston through New York City into Philadelphia. Airports across the region will be shut down or operating with massive delays. Major highways, including I-95, the New Jersey Turnpike, the Long Island Expressway, I-84, and I-91 will be treacherous to impassable. Amtrak's Northeast Corridor will face significant disruptions. Stay home Monday if you possibly can. After the storm exits the U.S. Monday evening, it crushes Nova Scotia with blizzard conditions Monday night into Tuesday morning. Newfoundland gets hammered by Tuesday. Eastern Canada is going to endure this system too. Now, the snowfall totals. I'm going to give you a low end and a high end because the honest truth is the spread between models is still significant, especially for the DC to Philadelphia corridor. And one of the biggest unknowns is the sharpness of the snow cutoff. Are we going to see a mountain of snow along the coast that also extends 100 to 200 miles inland? Or is there a sharp gradient where the coast gets crushed and totals drop off dramatically just 50 miles west? That question is the difference between Philadelphia getting 7 inches or 20 inches. The low end comes from the Euro AI, which tends to be one of the more conservative and realistic models. On the Euro AI, Richmond sees about 3 inches. Washington, D.C. sees around 5 inches. Baltimore is in the 4 to 6 inch range. A general 3 to 6 inches is safe for the D.C. Baltimore-Richmond corridor. The rain to snow transition eats into totals down there. Philadelphia is interesting. The Euro AI shows about 7 inches because it projects a sharper cutoff between the buried coast and the lighter inland totals. Even on the low end, though, coastal New Jersey sees 15 to 18 inches. New York City sees about 10 inches. Hartford sees 10 inches. Springfield, Massachusetts sees 8 inches. But even on the low end, Boston sees 15 inches. Providence sees about 15 inches. Plymouth sees 20 inches. Brookhaven and Toms River in New Jersey see 15 to 16 inches. Atlantic City sees 15 to 16 inches. The coast gets hammered regardless of which end of the range verifies. The high end comes from the national blend of models, which composites all guidance into an average. And because most models are going big on this storm, the national blend is producing enormous numbers. Washington, D.C. could approach a foot on the high end. Philadelphia sees close to 2 feet. Harrisburg sees maybe 10 inches. Scranton could see 14 inches. The entire state of New Jersey gets absolutely buried with close to 30 inches. New York City sees close to 30 inches. Boston sees 30 inches. Springfield sees 14. Albany sees about 8. These numbers are realistic. They represent the ceiling, not fantasy. My assessment of the most likely outcome falls between the two. Boston sees 18 to 24 inches with locally higher amounts, potentially 30 inches on Cape Cod and Nantucket from the wraparound. Providence sees 18 to 24 inches. Worcester sees 15 to 20 inches. Hartford sees 12 to 18 inches. Springfield sees 8 to 14 inches. Bridgeport and coastal Connecticut see 14 to 20 inches. New York City sees 12 to 20 inches across the 5 boroughs. Long Island sees 15 to 24 inches with the highest amounts on the eastern end. The Jersey Shore from Cape May through Toms River to Sandy Hook sees 15 to 24 inches. Trenton sees 12 to 18 inches. Newark sees 10 to 16 inches. Atlantic City sees 14 to 20 inches. Philadelphia sees 7 to 15 inches. That's a huge range, and it depends entirely on the sharpness of the gradient. If the snow extends well inland, Philly gets a foot plus. If the cutoff is sharp, Philly gets half a foot. Wilmington, Delaware sees 8 to 16 inches. Dover sees 8 to 14 inches. Baltimore sees 4 to 10 inches with the northern suburbs doing better. Washington, D.C. sees 3 to 8 inches, with the higher end possible if the transition happens faster. Richmond sees 2 to 4 inches. Albany and Syracuse see 6 to 10 inches plus lake effect enhancement on the backside. Burlington sees 5 to 8 inches. Portland, Maine sees 8 to 14 inches. Down East Maine sees significant snow continuing into Tuesday. The mountains of West Virginia from Elkins down through Beckley see a foot or more from the wraparound and northwest flow. West Virginia's ski resorts are going to cash in big with this system. The Smokies and high country of North Carolina get back in on the action with northwest flow snow. The typical northwest flow areas from Boone through Banner Elk will see accumulation. Asheville and areas further south and east will see less. Even well away from the storm center, Indiana and Ohio see a coating to several inches from the backside. Cleveland, Erie, and Buffalo pick up additional lake effect inches from the streamers off the Great Lakes behind the departing system. The Finger Lakes of New York see some banding. This is a storm that touches a massive geographic area, even if the heaviest snow is concentrated along the I-95 corridor. There's also a severe weather threat today in the warm sector ahead of the storm. Southern South Carolina, southern Georgia, and into southeastern Alabama need to watch for strong thunderstorms this afternoon. Damaging winds to 60 miles per hour, quarter-size hail, and an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out, especially across southern Georgia. Heavy rain of 1 to 3 inches accompanies the storms. Charleston, Savannah, Macon, and Dothan are in the zone. One more thing. While the Northeast is buried in snow, a major pattern flip is coming by midweek. The same ridge that amplified on the West Coast to deepen our trough is going to build across the central United States and bring early summer heat. We're talking 80s and 90s across the South, the desert Southwest, Santa Fe, Tucson, Southwest Texas, and warmth propagating into the plains, the Ohio Valley, and the Southeast. Some of it will eventually reach the Northeast. This snow, as impressive as it's going to be, probably won't stick around for more than a week or two before the warmth melts it away. But right now, that's the last thing anyone along the I-95 corridor is thinking about. The blizzard starts today. Hunker down, stay off the roads tonight and tomorrow. See you in the next one.